Jeff, Erin O'Toole hasn't had a lot of in-person events with voters, but at a rally with supporters in Saskatoon, one man was very clear, telling O'Toole he wasn't pleased he flip-flopped on a carbon tax and that a lot of farmers are, quote, pissed off. So we asked O'Toole about his message to both those Saskatchewan farmers and voters in oil-rich Alberta and whether he's worried about their support going somewhere else.
I've put forward a plan to the provinces that can help us achieve that. It does price carbon, and I do get some questions about it, and sometimes some people frustrated about that, but it shows my commitment. And by the time I finished that conversation, they understood we need to get the country working again.
It wasn't so clear whether that particular voter bought the argument. I tried to speak to him afterwards and he said he wasn't comfortable discussing it. O'Toole pitches his plan as one that will meet the Paris climate commitments while pricing carbon to a maximum of $50 a ton, much less than the Liberal plan. But certainly there is a disconnect among Conservative supporters about a carbon tax, and not just farmers or those in the oil and gas sector. At the party's last convention, members voted against a resolution that included the phrase "climate change is real." And while Erin O'Toole wants to be a progressive leader with a climate change policy, he also has to work to not alienate those among his base. The Liberals were completely shut out of Alberta and Saskatchewan in the 2019 election, but the Conservatives do face competition from both the Liberals and NDP, including here in Edmonton. Jeff?
Thanks, Abigail.
For some families living in big cities, home ownership is impossible. In places like Toronto, even renting can be too expensive for working couples.
I saw about 16 places, and we finally got one right downtown. And like I was saying, we pay $2,500 altogether, and we thought that that was like a good deal.
Thinking $2,500 a month is a good deal is the problem, according to NDP Leader Jagmeet Singh. He claims rental prices have risen $4,000 per year since the Liberals took power. And Singh says it's because of certain loopholes he plans to close.
The CMHC is being used right now by large corporations to get CMHC-backed loans that allow them to purchase buildings and units that they then renovate and effectively re-evict their occupants.
Wow. Singh is also promising to hand out up to $5,000 a year in rental supports for families. Now, the Liberals haven't released their full housing platform yet, but the spring budget built on the 2017 strategy with a $2.5 billion commitment to create 3,500 affordable housing units. The NDP is pledging to build 500,000 affordable homes within 10 years, while the Conservatives' plan is to build 1 million homes over 3 years, but nothing specific on affordable units.
We fought for people in the pandemic, and we're going to fight for people in the recovery.
The affordable homes Singh is promising would likely be built by those same developers the NDP says are taking advantage of CMHC loopholes. When pressed on that point, Singh softened his language somewhat.
We know we'll have to work with private developers, but we want to make sure that the priority is not on those developers, it's on people. And we can incentivize and encourage developers to work in a way that actually benefits Canadians.
Sunday will be a little more somber for Singh. He's scheduled to attend just one event in the morning where he'll help to mark the 10-year anniversary of the passing of former NDP leader Jack Layton. Jeff?
Couture in Toronto. Thanks, Mike.